Hello, happy day. Today is day 3. Gonna learn dimensional analysis. Today's warm-up is what is the scientific notation and why is it used? Make sure you answer that question. All right, dimensional analysis is just a fancy word for conversion. All right, if you start with inches, you want to know how many feet or how many miles that is. All right, I'm going to teach you it in a specific way. I want you to use that way because we're going to use this later in class. All right, and it'll be very helpful if you have learned it. All right, so we're going to follow these steps. Write what's given. Write what's given, including your units. All right, so what's given to us in the problem is this, right? We'll start with the number and the unit directly following it. 32.7 IN for inches, right? Write a times and a fraction line that is already done for us, right? Times and the fraction line. Number 3, fill in the units so they cancel. All right, when you multiply or when you divide something by itself, does it make it turn into 1 and cancel? It is when you divide by it. So whatever unit we have, we want to put on the bottom. So we're putting inches on the bottom because that is the unit we have. We want it to cancel, right? The unit that's going to go on top is the unit that we want, what we're trying to convert to. We're trying to convert into feet. Right? That's given to us in our problem. You should know a conversion that goes straight from inches to feet. So we only need one. We don't have to do multiple. All right, we filled in our units so they cancel. Now we're going to fill in our numbers, right? Feet or inches, right? There are 12 inches in 1 foot. All right, so foot is going to get a 1 and inches is going to get 12. All right, this start number we're never going to use again. It only goes in start. It does not get used in our conversion. The conversion is 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. All right, so we filled in our numbers. Now we're in step 5, solve or repeat. Feet is on top. That is the unit we want, so we do not need to repeat. We can solve. So we're going to pull up our calculator, and put it in 32.7, right? This is a fraction, so we're going to times by the thing on top, divide by the thing on bottom. So times 1 divided by 12, and I get 2.7. This 5 will round the 2 up, so it'll become a 3. So 2.73 space. Make sure we include our units, which are now feet. There we go. All right, here we go with the next one. This one is a little different. It's a little bit more of a word problem, but that's okay. We're still going to use our same steps. All right, Alan is planning a neighborhood run that is 3.2 miles long, but he does not have a way to measure that long of a distance. However, he does know that each of his steps is exactly 9.2 inches. How many steps does he have to walk to reach the 3.2 mile long goal? All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to write what is given. All right, so we're given a couple different numbers in here, right? But typically you want to start with the last number it gives you, which is 3.2 miles. So we're going to start with 3.2 miles. Perfect. All right, second step is to do what? All right, second step is times and a fraction line. That's already written for us, times and a fraction line. So let's go on to step 3, which is to fill in the units so they cancel. I have miles here, so is miles going to go on the top or the bottom? They're going to go on the bottom. All right, what's going on top? What does the question ask for? It eventually asks for, right, how many steps? And that is what we want. Do we know how many miles are in a step? It does not give us that information, right? The only other information we have is 9.2 inches, right? Is a step, right? So we're gonna have to get to inches and then to steps. Do you know how many inches are in a mile? I certainly don't. But in our helpful conversions, it tells us how many feet are in a mile. All right, so we can use that one and then get feet into inches. So we're gonna have to put feet on the top. All right, and then we'll use our conversion, right? Here it says 1 mile. All right, so we'll put a 1 in front of the mile. And then feet, it says 5,280. So 5,280 goes next to that. All right, so that was filling in our numbers. Now we're in step 5, solve or repeat. We are currently in feet. Is that the unit we want? It is not, therefore we're gonna have to repeat. All right, so we're gonna go back to step 2. We're gonna write another times and a fraction line. Times and a fraction line, already done for us. So now we need to go to step 3. Step 3 is to fill in the units so they cancel. The unit I currently have on top is feet. So do feet need to go to the top or bottom to cancel? They will go to the bottom. All right, the unit we're going to go to, again, ultimately we want to get to steps, but we don't know how many steps are in a foot, but we do know how many inches, so we can go to inches. All right, so that's step 3. Step 4, fill in our numbers. So again, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So now we're in step 5, solve or repeat. We are currently in inches. All right. Again, we're not in the unit we want. We got to do another one. We're going to have to repeat. So go to step 2, write a times and a fraction line. Here we go, times and a fraction line. All right, then we go to step 3, fill in your units. So I currently have inches. Inches will need to go where in order to cancel? On the bottom. And on top, we can go to, right, steps, because we do know now how many inches are in a step. And it tells us, right, each of his steps is 9.2 inches. So 9.2 inches for 1 step. All right, and step 5, do we need to solve or do we have to repeat? All right, we are finally in steps, so we can solve. All right, so we're just going to put this all in the calculator at the same time. All right, we're going to start with our start number times top divided by the bottom, times top divided by the bottom, times top divided by the bottom. So let's do that. 3.2 times the top, which is 5,280, divided by the bottom, which is 1, times the top, which is 12, divided by the bottom, which is 1, times the top, which is 1, divided by the bottom, which is 9.2. And then we'll hit enter. And we get this big long number. I'm going to need to make this so I can type it in, 22038.26. The 0 does not round the 6 up. Space. Our unit, oops, don't want that, is steps. There we go. All right, one more together, and then you guys will have some on your own. All right, Sister Brittany's driving us through Canada. Speed limit on most highways was 2.7 e to the negative 2 kilometers per second. What is the speed in miles per hour? All right, so again, step 1, write what's given, including units. All right, so here's our number, 2.7. Make sure you write the whole thing, e negative 2. All right, our unit, we have kilometers per second, right? So that means kilometers on the top and seconds are on the bottom. All right, we have 2 different conversions, right? We're going to have to get kilometers to miles and hours to, or seconds to hours. And it doesn't matter which one you start with, but you're going to have to do both. All right, so let's do our kilometers first. All right, so kilometers are on top, therefore they'll need to go to the bottom to cancel. We're trying to convert those kilometers to miles. Let's see if we have a conversion that can do that. Let's see, I do. Look, 1 mile is this many kilometers, so I can go straight to miles. Probably convert. That's fine. I probably abbreviated it. All right, there is 1 mile. There you go. 1 mile in 1.609 kilometers. All right, so now I have successfully converted my kilometers to miles. All right, but I still need to convert my seconds into hours. All right, since second is on the bottom, where does it need to go in order to cancel? All right, it needs to go to the opposite. So this time our seconds are going to go to the top. All right, and then we're trying to convert to hours. Do you know how many seconds are in an hour? Yeah, I don't either. So we're going to have to go to minutes first, right? And then we know 1 minute is 60 seconds. All right, so we've converted to minutes. Are we in the unit we want yet? We are not. We need to convert again. All right, so our minutes will need to cancel. Therefore, they need to go on top. And then we can convert from minutes to hours. All right, and then 1 hour again is 60 minutes. All right, so now we have our miles per hour. We can convert, we can solve. So let's put it in our calculator. Remember to use your E button. 2.7. This calculator uses EXP. Make sure you use whatever the appropriate one for the calculator you're using. EXP, and then our exponent, which is -2. All right, and then we times by the top number, which is 1, divide by the bottom number, which is 1.609. Then we'll do the same thing with the next fraction, times the top, which is 60, divided by the bottom, which is 1. Same thing with the next fraction, times the top, which is 60, divided by the bottom, which is 1. And we get 60.41. The 0 does not round the 1 up. And our unit are miles per hour. There we go. All right, so you got some to try, right? Make sure you try this one and this one and this one. And then you have one at the end that does not have any boxes, right? So I strongly recommend you get out some scratch paper or a whiteboard and answer that one.